Alright everybody, we're continuing our series of videos where we're comparing the Ninja 250 to a 600, and we're leaving it up to you to decide on which is the safest bike to start on. And we're comparing both of them on the freeways and on the twisties. So click below this video after you watch this one, and we're taking the same exact route with the 250. Now 250 right side is the exact same as on the 600. We tested front brake, rear brake right there. Shifting, clutch here, and then you have the shift lever there. They're both 6 gears. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get on the bike, get on the freeway, and let you make the decision which one's safer. Okay, so here we go. Make sure the kickstand's up. This one you don't have to put the clutch in. One of the things I love about the Ninja 250, if you're newer, it's got a positive neutral finder. And if you don't know this yet, on motorcycles, especially the Japanese bikes, you have first where my pinky is, and neutral is right here, and then my middle finger here would be second. So you have to slightly tap up from first to get into neutral. And sometimes it's hard to find that on some bikes. It's a little challenging. This one has a positive neutral finder where if you just stop and you kick up, you're there. So we're going to kick down to first, slowly let the clutch out. First we're going to show you freeway riding. Click up to second. Still in second. Okay, so check this out. Clutch in, I'm kicking down from second. Notice I'm in neutral. So I like that it has a positive neutral finder. When you're downshift all the way to first, if you want to find neutral, you just kick up and it's there, rather than having to fiddle around with it to figure out where neutral's at. So you get it, first is here, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and you're always kicking up and down. But if I'm in third and I kick slightly down, I'll be in neutral. But if I'm in, if I'm in second and I kick slightly down, I'm in neutral. If I'm in second and I click all the way down, I'm in first. Not really good to downshift to first. So it's okay to do it, let's say you're from fourth, shifting down to third and whatnot, but you don't want to be downshifting to first because it's not good for the motor. So this is a 250R. We just rode a 600, and you're going to find that the 250R does hold its own on the freeways, and it's a lot more fun on the corners. So we're in third, just to give an example. Still in third, shifting up to fourth. The pegs on this motorcycle are very high. I like that. So it makes it easy to take corners and even lean over more. So we're in fourth. Okay, panic stop here. Notice I'm stopping to the right. So I'm going to wait here. I'm in neutral, kicking down to first. Slowly giving it throttle. Here we go. Second. So let's go through the gears with me. Third. We're at 30 and third. Fourth. Clutch in, kick up fifth. One more gear to go. If you're coming from a 600, you'll find you're always looking for more gears on this motorcycle. So we're in fifth. Clutch in, kick up to sixth. Let's get over here. Now, notice we're at about 9,000 RPMs, and it redlines. It starts the red line at 13,000. Not bad for a 250. Now, of course, the bike is very, very light. Now what we're going to do, guys, we're going to take it off, same exact route as we did with the 600. We're going to take it off the freeway. We're going to take it off right now. Click below this video, and you can see the same route, same exact route we're taking on the 250. We already took it on the 600. Excuse me. So I want the viewers to decide which bike is best I think you guys, let me get over here. I think you guys are going to say for freeway, the 600, but for off the freeway, like on the corners and everything, the 250. Now, what some people do is they change the sprocket, and then it won't be winding out as much. So you can change the sprocket and make it a good freeway bike if you're so inclined. Another thing too, you'll notice this bike, you're sitting more straight up. The handlebars seem to be wider than most sport bikes seem to be closer in. The seat is very firm, not very comfortable. It's designed to kind of slide around on as you're going around corners. But notice on the freeway it does hold its own, so we got to give credit where credit's due. Alright, so we're going to get off the freeway. We're in 6th gear, slowly coming down here. 30-mile-per-hour corner. They're stopping. I wasn't going to, but you really can lean this puppy. It is a sport bike through and through. It handles great. It's one of the best handling motorcycles I've ever ridden, as far as just effortlessly throwing it where you want to throw it. Alright, we're in 2nd. Watch us clutch in, kick up to 3rd. So, I do think for the freeways the 600's better, but for this type of riding, you know, out on the open road, on streets, not highways, major highways, this is where the 250 Ninja R, the 250R, comes into its own. Notice it's perfectly balanced, no hands on the handlebars. They've done a great job on this bike. I would love to get in front of these people, but there's no dotted line and I have oncoming traffic. Although that make for a great video, me going into oncoming traffic, I probably wouldn't be there to upload it. So what we're going to do is one more light, and then we're going to be going through the little canyons here. Show you how this thing handles. Now, just to give you an idea, we're in 6th gear. For those of you not familiar with the 250R, you got your gas gauge over here on the right, the speedometer in the middle. All the way to the left is the tachometer. This is for my cell phone. You can put your cell phone here and you could have GPS, or if you have a Bluetooth helmet, you can talk to people while riding, listen to music. Okay, so here we go. We're approaching the canyons. We're going to show you counter steering on this bike. Very effortless. I'm going to pull back towards me on this handlebar. That'll go to the right. Pull back towards me on the right handlebar. Watch this. See how I'm leaning to the left. If I pull back on this handlebar right here, it'll lean me to the left. Now, we have a turn to the right. I'm going to pull back towards me. Just a little pressure on the left handlebar this way. Watch. This bike, very, very flickable. Look at this. Very, very light, nimble, flickable. Great bike to ride around these little canyons. It's like it already knows what you're going to do. Look at this. I can just ride that line. Look at that sign. Motorcycle riders love that sign. Not braking. We're in 6th. One of the neat things about the Ninja 250R is oil cooled, air cooled. and water cooled. It's like liquid cooled, like, you know, coolant. Good bike for California. Now we'll see if we can pass on the dotted line if there's no cars. Excuse me. Now, if you're in a very windy area, excuse me, all this yelling is affecting my throat because it's so loud, you know, with the wind gust. But if you're in a very windy area, this is not a good bike for you. It's very light. It feels every little bit of the wind. So, should you start off on a 600 or a 250? If you're going to be riding in areas like this, yes. However, I don't really like it on the freeway as much as a 600. Especially if I had to go real far on it. Now what we're going to downshift to 5th. We're not really braking yet. This is slight downhill like this. Downshift to 4th. We're starting to brake. And now we're putting it in 1st. 2nd gear. 1st gear is a very short throw. It's just there to get the bike barely moving. Once the bike's moving, you can go up to 2nd. Alright, buddy. He's on a like dirt bike. So check this out. We got a 50-mile-per-hour corner. I'm going all the way up to 6th. And here we go. Just effortless around these corners. Very, very easy compared to the 600 we rode earlier. If you click below this video, in the description box, you'll see our review where we're talking about should you start on a 600 or 250, and we take a 600 on the same exact road. So I guess the answer to the question, should you start on a 600 or 250, is really based on, I would say, a couple of variables. Let's say 3 variables. Number 1, well, if you were going to start on a 600, what type? I don't think like an R6 would be one for you to start off on. You know, that's like a racing type bike. Another variable is what type of rider are you? Are you a responsible rider? Or are you going to be pushing the envelope? On a 600, pushing the envelope is a fraction of a second difference. You could be responsible 1 second, and in a fraction of a second you push the envelope and you crash. So it takes a little bit more to get this 250 up to pushing the envelope. That's probably why people say maybe you should start on a 250. And then the other variable, we talked about 2 right there. You know, what type of 600 would you start off on, if you do? And also, what type of rider you are. And the third variable is where you're going to be riding it. If someone would say they're a safe rider, they're going to be riding on the freeways a lot, and they're starting on a 600, not maybe like an R6 or something, but maybe a Ninja 600 or something, or 650, then I would say, okay, go for that. But if you if you're not responsible and you're going to be pushing the envelope and pushing the envelope, you, you're going to crash. So The Ninja 250 is a little more forgiving around these corners if you're pushing the envelope. You're not going to be crashing at no 120 mile per hour speed on this bike. It doesn't even go that fast. So you may want to start on a 250. Like I'm mentioning, notice this bike is just a handling, it's the handling king. It is just great at handling. So I guess you should answer the question yourself now that you've seen both videos. If you haven't, click below this video to see the other one. But where you're going to be riding it is a big factor. If you're going to be going long stretches on freeways, you're going to need power. If you're going to be riding on roads like this, where they're curvy and whatnot, you're not really going to be getting it up there real fast. This is a much better bike for that. Now, some of you guys and gals are like, well, I'm going to go a little bit freeway, but mostly streets. I would stick with the Ninja 250 then. However, if you're going to be going like over 30, 35 miles, that's where you start wanting something with more power. Now, not to take back what I just said, but let's say you're in the city, or like New York or excuse me, parts of Manhattan, California, LA. Downshifting to 5th because we have a really bad bumps going over this train track here. Standing on the pegs as I go over. Then I would say if you're in a metropolis type area like that, then a 250 is good. Even if you're going on freeways, if they're bumper to bumper freeways where there's a lot of traffic, great bike. This is a great bike, a 250. Very good. Look at this. Pretty sharp corner there. Very good with lane splitting. I don't know if that's legal in your state. California it is. You know what lane splitting is? You have all these cars bumper to bumper. You can just go right down the middle of car to the left, car to your right. Okay guys, so there you have it. If you want the answer to the question, answer those 3 questions to yourself. Are you a responsible rider? Hold on, let me take this corner. Really got to lean on that one. Are you a responsible rider? Are you going to be going freeways? You know, where are you going to ride? So, what type of rider are you is the question. Where are you going to be riding it is a very important question. And what type of motorcycle are you going to get if you're going to get a 600, hold on, pick this corner. If you're going to get a 600, don't be getting like some racing bike R6 type of 600. There's 600s, there's even 650s that have very low first, second gear, you know, like the torque, where you're not going to flip it up over you. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull over here and summarize the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you like. If you don't want to subscribe, I won't hold it against you. Here we go. Alright. So we learned basically this is a great bike for... Wait, let's not... Oh, great, I'm going off in the dirt. See how forgiving it is? I'm going off into the dirt. So we learned this is a great bike for like the twisties and also some limited freeway riding. Now, click below and look at the one where we ride the 600, and you guys be the judge. Which bike do you think would be better for you? Should you get a 600 or a 250? Click below, check out the next video, you decide.